5K. The 5K is the shortest and most beginner-friendly race in this lineup. The distance is 5 kilometers, or about 3.1 miles, and because the race is relatively short, runners usually maintain a very aggressive pace from start to finish. It is one of the most popular road race formats in the world, often used for charity runs, school competitions, and community events. The current men's world record for the Road 5K is held by Barihu Aragawi, while the women's record is held by Beatrice Chebet. On the track version of the 5K, legendary names like Joshua Cheptegei and Beatrice Chebet dominate the record books. Prestigious 5K races include the Carlsbad 5000 in the United States and various Diamond League track meets around the world. Technically, runners need excellent pacing because the race is fast enough to feel like a sprint, but long enough to punish anyone who starts too aggressively.
10K. The 10K doubles the distance of the 5K and becomes much more demanding in terms of endurance. It covers 10 kilometers, or roughly 6.2 miles, and is widely considered one of the best distances for balancing speed and stamina. Many runners move into the 10K after gaining confidence in shorter races. The men's world record is held by Ronex Kipruto on the road, although the result has faced controversy, while the women's record belongs to Agnes Jebet Negedic. On the track, Joshua Cheptegei and Beatrice Chebet hold historic records. Famous competitions include the Peachtree Road Race in Atlanta, Olympic 10,000-meter finals, and World Athletics Championship events. Technically, the race requires controlled pacing and strong aerobic endurance. Unlike the 5K, runners cannot rely purely on speed. They need rhythm, patience, and efficient energy management.
Half marathon. The half marathon covers 21.1 kilometers, or 13.1 miles. It is often viewed as the bridge between casual racing and serious endurance running. The race has exploded in popularity because it offers the prestige of long-distance racing without the brutal recovery demands of a full marathon. The men's world record is currently held by Jacob Kiplimo, while the women's record belongs to Letesenbet Gide. These performances pushed human endurance to extraordinary levels, with elite runners maintaining incredibly fast paces for over an hour. Prestigious half marathons include the Valencia Half Marathon, Copenhagen Half Marathon, and Ras Al Khaimah Half Marathon. Technically, nutrition and hydration begin to matter more at this distance. Runners need to balance endurance with speed because going out too fast can completely destroy the final kilometers.
Marathon. The marathon is the most iconic distance in running. At 42.195 kilometers, or 26.2 miles, it represents endurance, discipline, and mental toughness. The race traces its roots back to ancient Greek history, but modern marathons became globally famous through massive city events. The men's marathon world record is held by Sebastian Sawe, while the women's record belongs to Ruth Cheptegei. Marathon records attract enormous attention because breaking even a few seconds off the world record is considered historic. The most prestigious marathon series is the World Marathon Majors, which includes Boston, London, Berlin, Chicago, New York City, and Tokyo. Among them, the Berlin Marathon is especially famous for world records due to its flat course. Technically, marathon racing is heavily dependent on pacing, fueling, hydration, and mental control. Many runners hit the wall around kilometer 30 when glycogen stores become depleted. That final section often determines whether a race becomes a triumph or a disaster. Ultramarathon. An ultramarathon is any race longer than a marathon. Common distances include 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers, and even 100-mile races. Unlike road marathons, ultramarathons often take place in mountains, forests, deserts, or extreme environments. The sport has many legendary athletes rather than one universally recognized world record holder because courses vary so much. Names like Kilian Jornet and Courtney Dauwalter are widely respected in the ultra running world. Prestigious races include UTMB in France, Western States 100 in the United States, and Comrades Marathon in South Africa. Technically, ultramarathons are less about pure speed and more about survival, pacing, nutrition, sleep management, and mental endurance. Some races last for an entire day or longer.
Triathlon. Triathlon combines swimming, cycling, and running into one continuous race. The running section usually comes at the very end, after the athlete has already exhausted their body in the previous disciplines. Because of that, even a short run can feel extremely difficult. One of the most famous triathletes in history is Jan Frodeno, while Christian Blumenfeld has also dominated modern long-distance triathlon. On the women's side, Daniela Rife became legendary for her Ironman performances. Prestigious competitions include the Ironman World Championship in Kona and the Olympic triathlon event. Technically, triathlon racing is unique because athletes must transition efficiently between disciplines. Even putting on shoes too slowly inside the transition zone can cost valuable seconds. Cross-country. Cross-country racing takes place on natural terrain, such as grass, mud, dirt, and hills. Unlike road races, courses constantly change depending on weather and geography. Muddy conditions can completely transform the difficulty of a race. Historically, athletes like Kenisa Bekele dominated international cross-country competitions. The sport has deep roots in schools and universities, especially in Europe, Africa, and the United States. Prestigious competitions include the World Athletics Cross-Country Championships and NCAA Cross-Country Championships. Technically, cross-country races reward toughness and adaptability. Runners deal with uneven footing, steep hills, and changing terrain that make pacing much less predictable than road racing. Sprint race. Sprint races focus entirely on explosive speed. Common sprint distances include the 100 meters, 200 meters, and 400 meters. Unlike long-distance races, sprinting depends almost entirely on power, acceleration, and biomechanics. The most famous sprinter in history is Usain Bolt, whose world records in the 100 and 200 meters remain legendary. In women's sprinting, names like Florence Griffith Joyner continue to define the sport decades later. Prestigious competitions include the Olympics, World Championships, and Diamond League events. Technically, sprint races are often decided in fractions of a second. Reaction time, starting block technique, and running form are all critically important. Trail race. Trail racing moves running away from paved roads and into nature. Courses pass through mountains, forests, deserts, and rocky terrain. Elevation changes become one of the biggest challenges, especially during steep climbs and descents. Legendary trail runners include Kilian Jornet and Jim Walmsley. Their performances in mountain races helped bring global attention to trail running. Prestigious races include UTMB, Hard Rock 100, and Ultra Trail Australia. Technically, trail runners must constantly adapt their stride and footing. Weather, altitude, and terrain can change rapidly, which makes trail racing feel unpredictable compared to road running. Relay race. Relay races involve teams rather than individual runners. Each runner completes part of the race before handing off to a teammate. The most famous relay event is the 4x100 meter relay, where speed and baton exchange precision are equally important. Teams from countries like Jamaica and the United States have historically dominated relay sprinting. Athletes such as Usain Bolt became famous not only for individual races, but also for relay performances. Prestigious relay events appear in the Olympics, World Championships, and World Relays competitions. Technically, baton exchange zones are crucial. A tiny mistake during the handoff can ruin an otherwise perfect race, even if the team has the fastest runners on the track.